What's going on, guys? Welcome to another video. I'm your boy NarikChase. In this video, we are going to be talking about Alien Earth Episode 7, Emergence. Now, if you've been keeping up with the episodes, my reviews on them, or even watched Alien Earth, you realize there's a lot of problems that this show got going on. And hopefully, during the last 2 episodes, leading to the end of the season, maybe we'll get, better writing, better acting, better conclusion, more really good resolve on a lot of these open plot points and storylines they've opened up. And to their credit, they didn't give a damn about starting none of this stuff. This episode was just bad in a lot of ways. And again, I hate this show because it's filled with good ideas, but the writing is overall crap. So let's go ahead and just jump into it. Now, episode 7, we have it opens up. Well, honestly, actually, before I forget, I actually had notes, and I can't find where I put the notes in. So, computer crashed on one side, so I had to get a new computer, and then now I'm able to shoot the video. My notes are gone, so just off the top of my head. So if I'm all over the place, that's why. Well, the episode opens up with Slightly in his room. He's got Arthur under his bed with the facehugger on his face, and I kind of like the little thing that he tried to, give him some water and stuff with water, and you see how the facehugger reacts to that. I think that was actually a pretty interesting sequence, because in a lot of the alien world, we never really see the people interact with the body with the facehugger on it outside of trying to take it off. So it's kind of cool seeing that. And then Smee ends up coming there, and I like the guy that does the performance of Smee. I think he's really good. He totally nails the whole kid vibe. So, but he's disgusted at seeing it, but ultimately Slightly explains the situation that his family is being threatened by Morrow unless he can get one of these parasites off of the island, and Smee ends up helping him. So I'm very curious to see how this highly secure facility, how these 2 people, hybrids, are going to sneak a body with a facehugger wrapped around out of this place. So we'll see how that goes. So, they go, the flies end up killing one of the hybrids in the previous episode. So, one of the coolest scenes, this next scene shows that Kirsh has made it back to the lab, and he actually has these people trained on how to contain these creatures, because the flies are going around messing up stuff. And you see these 2 guys, these lab technicians, go up there and just recapture them just like that. And I'm like, it was that easy? I thought these flies were just gonna go around, wild out, and just start messing up stuff. Excuse me, I did not get much sleep. Only got like 3 hours of sleep. But so definitely gonna take a nap after these videos. But so we end up seeing these lab technicians just take these things out. They just stun them with tasers, and I was like, is that easy? And like I said, the last episode, you see these creatures escape, so you think they're going to escape, and because it's shown that they don't eat organic matter, that they'll be able to easily escape this laboratory, maybe through a vent or something, maybe through the door, using this acidic juices that they emit to kind of escape and maybe start laying eggs in like machines and stuff and causing all kind of chaos, which I think that would kind of happen since they're all supposed to be like these parasitic life forms. They don't do that. You see them do one thing where one like spits acid on this corrosive stuff on this like control box, but that's about it. So I thought that was kind of cool. And Cavalier comes in. He's still stupid. And he kind of gets a little serious when Kirsh tells him, you know, hey, no, at first he's goofy. He's like, hey, you know, one of the hybrids messed up. Cavalier's all cavalier about it until he ends up finding out that one of them, that Isaac, just the one that got killed, is dead. And he kind of gets a bit more serious because, you know, these hybrids are really, really expensive. Not that he cares now because he put them in dangerous situations before without the least bit of concern, but one dies, now he's all ooh. So I don't understand that. I thought that was kind of dumb. And then for some reason, Wendy ends up coming in there, and you would think that area would be locked, like locked off from them, because not only was there a containment breach, but one of the hybrids got killed, so she technically shouldn't be able to go up in there anyway. But she goes in there. Got the killer instinct to murder rap you. I definitely take a nap. I go to bed. But anyways, excuse me. So she gets pissed off. Isaac's dead, and she's like, "We can die," and I'm like, "Yeah, you can die. You're not immortal." See, that's one thing I always thought weird about people talk about people being immortal, like Deadpool, Wolverine, and stuff like that. But I'm like, you're not immortal. You just don't die traditionally like other people. Being immortal means you can't die at all. You know what I mean? There's like no way you can cease to exist. But y'all are, I'm like, y'all hybrids will live longer than humans. But if you sustain enough damage, you can't die. I mean, you practically died fighting the Xenomorph in like episode 2 or 3. So the fact that Isaac's death shocks you. And then, you know, she's mad that they're trying to cover it up as accident, and technically it was. So she gets in her feelings. She goes to go talk with she goes to go find the others, and ends up coming to meet Nibs and Joe and Curly. And while she's doing this, Cavalier is kind of getting stern with her. And she's not allowed to leave the laboratory, which is an interesting scene because she instantly, because the Xenomorph's in the locked away still, and they try to contain her. She actually contacts the Xenomorph. The Xenomorph shows agitation because she's controlling it, and it makes Cavalier kind of be like, oh crap. Now, at this moment, you see that she can communicate with the Xenomorph. I'm still trying to figure out why he just didn't shut her down, because they've shut her down before, and they shut down Nibs, and shut down other people. So why they just didn't shut her down? Because she could influence the Xenomorph, this highly dangerous creature. I don't know. So, anyways, so while she's supposed to be trying to find the others, and Cavalier's like, okay, we got to go talk to the other hybrids. We need somebody to go hurry up and find them. Now, why they just don't communicate through the radio or through the screens and be like, hey, I need y'all to exit y'all room and come here and have a group discussion or something. Take this route because something happened here. Nope. And you would think that because of this facility, he can instantly have somebody else at any point in any moment go straight there and walk them on out. But he don't. He doesn't. So that was completely stupid. Because when they ends up going in and finding them like a minute later, all in the room. And she starts to talk to them about escaping the island. Now, Joe has been making a bunch of inquiries about this same thing. And even Wendy gave him a bit of pushback for it, but now she's on board with him. Nibs, at this point, I still don't understand what they got going on with the character, because when she fights goes against the little eye creature and she's traumatized from it and it starts to wear on her psyche, that part made sense. But the fact that they wiped her memory so she don't remember experiencing that, and she still clearly shows signs of like traumatized psyche, like some kind of weird psychosis going on, leads to me to think, I'm like, well, maybe she was like psychotic or something before. Now they try to say that she's been through a lot, but we don't see that, so she just comes off as crazy, which is weird because initially, before the incident with the eye creature, she didn't show signs of being like just crazy or anything like that. So, but then Wendy, after she got mind wiped, Wendy is like messing with her and insisting that she has forgotten something, because she does get mad that they mind wiped her. But then she just kind of goes to this weird, crazy psychosis again. So I don't understand what they were doing with Nibs. I don't understand where they were going with the character. It felt like she would be kind of like the outlier, kind of like the wild card, and it could have worked with how would a hybrid, you know, how would they deal with the hybrid that just broke mentally and just went around killing people and stuff like that. Like, that could have been something they started to do, but they messed that up badly. So Nibs decides to go with her. Curly's the only one that doesn't decide to go, and it's kind of weird because Wendy makes a promise not to tell, and I was like, okay, I mean, it's something the kid would do, I guess. But so, anyways, Joe, having talked with Arthur before he got caught up, previous episode, he deactivated their tracker, so they don't know where. They don't know. Kirsh earlier ends up telling Cavalier he doesn't know where the hybrids are because the trackers come on. Why he does not turn them back on? They don't show that Arthur disabled. I mean, show they turn it off, but it ain't like he corrupted the system or something like that. These people don't have a backup plan finding these hybrids. I have no idea what's going on here. So, anyways, Wendy decides to kind of use the Xenomorph as a distraction, releases the Xenomorph using her robotic AI powers to manipulate the electronics, and kills a bunch of random people that did nothing to her. And it's a brutal scene, and it's messed up because you see this scientist lady there just taking notes or whatever, and then she sees the light change and she's like, oh crap, and then she knows Xenomorph just wows out. And I'm thinking, I don't like Wendy after this. I do not like Wendy after this, because she killed like random people. She didn't do it when she was in the laboratory with Cavalier and Kirsh, and I was like, okay, they're holding you actively a threat to you now, so why not just do it then? But you do it to just a bunch of random people that had nothing to do with what you got going on. So you just killed a bunch of random people for no reason. So Wendy's a piece of crap now, becoming this villain. And so Kirsh, so Slightly and Smee are somehow finding their way through this big old facility with all of these people dragging a body, which I thought was weird because they're hybrids, so Slightly shouldn't have problem carrying Arthur. He should be able to just like put him on his back or hold him in his arms. The hybrids are super strong, and they've shown that they're super strong, so I don't understand why Smee has to be there to help him. But Kirsh ends up coming up on it. Now, we all know Kirsh has been doing some really shady stuff. Not fully sure where he's coming from, who his allegiance is with, and I was like, this man, he's like, he catches him, he's like, what are you doing? They're like, he's like, if you go this way, you get to the beach faster. Now, Kirsh has been keeping track of what's been going on between Morrow and Slightly, and at first, my first thought was, okay, he's working for Yutani, and he's helping to get Morrow this parasite for Yutani. And he doesn't, and maybe Morrow doesn't know that Kirsh is working for Yutani. They're a pretty good way of showing a bit more of the espionage, the corporate espionage that I've been wanting from the series. But then I also thought about something else. He's been listening in on Slightly and Morrow's conversations. So I'm thinking, it hit me, I was like, you know what, Kirsh is using this opportunity to get to Morrow. Morrow, to get Morrow, to draw Morrow, which I think, and I was like, that has to be it. Because the Yutani angle would be cool, but the writers aren't smart enough to kind of go with that, so they got to at least go with what they set up, and there's this big tension between Morrow and Kirsh, who have undeniably the best moments in the entire series, and who are the best characters in the entire series. So I'm thinking it's a setup. So he ends up letting them go, and they end up taking, he ends up letting them go. So there's a scene where Smee and Slightly are in the woods, in the forest, jungle, wherever the hell they are, and some soldiers coming through, more of Prodigy soldiers coming through looking for whatever, patrolling or whatever they're doing, looking for the Xenomorph, and they drop Arthur's body, and this all happens like feeling like 5-10 seconds. They drop his body, they go back after the soldiers leave, the body's completely gone, because it was literally right next to him, and then they're looking for the body, and then the facehugger falls out of the tree, and they're like, it's dead, and then Arthur comes off from the right, and you're like, how did the facehugger get in the tree? Because they die after they put the baby Xenomorph in you, almost immediately. Now I am quite sure I have seen this happen before. There was a scene where a Xenomorph kind of fell from overhead, and maybe they don't just automatically die. Maybe they have like a minute before they die, or something. But it was just a cheap jump scare. And how the hell did Arthur get up and walk around, and they didn't notice? I have no idea. It still throws me off. But they end up talking him, say, hey, you need to go meet us at the beach. They manipulate him to meet him at the beach, get to the beach. Now, as they're walking, Arthur starts remembering what happened. Because he's like, what's going on, you know? And he remembers, and then he ends up saying, hey, Slightly, to me, something, I could tell something's not right in both y'all lying. And I like how he kind of tells Slightly that I know you're lying a lot better. This whole series, he's been lying, and it's been some of the worst lying and the obvious lying that you've ever seen in life. So I was like, oh, come on. But he ends up talking to them, and they're going back to the facility, but then he ends up birthing the chest burster and dies. Now, I think this scene kind of went a little bit too fast, especially when it popped out. And it definitely, I don't think that was practical. That was not practical. I've seen practical Xenomorph head thing, and I wish that could have been more practical. They try to catch the Xenomorph, but then the Xenomorph ends up running off. So, and Arthur's dead, and I kind of liked Arthur towards the end. He's one of those characters where he really got nothing to do. He was in a good spot. He didn't really get much to do, and he does have some moments of humanity, especially because when Cavalier and Adam are trying to do stupid stuff with the hybrids, and he kind of questions it, and what leads to his firing. He gets this, but it's not like the story itself is baked with good character moments for this man, where, you know what I'm saying, to where he's a much more prominent character like Kirsh or Morrow. But I didn't like the fact that he died. I was like, oh, this is dumb. But anyway, so these two geniuses take his dead body to the beach, and Morrow shows up with a couple of Yutani soldiers out of the water, which was kind of a cool scene. But and then Morrow's mad that the Xenomorph got away and it just got a dead body. And I'm thinking to myself, if you guys were trying to get, and I thought about this, I said, if y'all were supposed to be bringing the parasite to Morrow, why, when Arthur woke up, you didn't get the facehugger and take it with you? Because y'all didn't know a Xenomorph was going to be impregnating the guy. Your thing was you're supposed to take the your perception was you're supposed to take the facehugger. Because the facehugger was the parasite that you saw. You didn't know that was going to impregnate the guy.
Creeping with the hunt.
So they, the soldiers go in into the Neverland Ranch Island or whatever the hell it's called, and they're getting ready to do their thing. Now there's an earlier scene where the Wendy, Wendy, Nibs, and Joe. All three of them, I believe. It wasn't Curly. No, Curly stayed behind. Those three end up coming across their graves, the graves of their original bodies. And there's this weird moment. It could have been a good moment, but it was still kind of dumb because if they're going to the beach and they've explored this island several times, and from the way that the shots made, like this area is like a prominent area which we haven't seen before. How come they've never came across this grave site before? You would think they would burn the bodies, or they would. I mean, it seemed like a good location to bury the bodies, but I was like, why would they? And maybe it's because they were trying to avoid like security forces. I give them that. Maybe they're trying to avoid security forces. But I was like, why would y'all bury the bodies like right here? You know, for all the times they've explored the island, why now? I don't know. So it's an interesting moment. That again, if it was written better, would have been a way better. It was shown way better depth in terms of character development, the thoughts of, okay, does the human body, does the actual person whose mind was transferred, is their mind was still in the body when the body died, or like was it copied, or was it fully consciously moved into the, like, could the hybrid have woken up and then the original body woken up and interacted, like, it could have led to some interesting moments, but it just glossed over. So, just again, the people that wrote this show have no talent, none whatsoever. There's no subtleness to it. There's no nuance. It's just straight stupid. So, anyways, Kirsh is talking with Cavalier, and he ends up telling her, "Hey, this eyeball creature is how Isaac got killed. It did what it did. It banged his head against the door, which makes Isaac jump, which made the door close, and then the flies attacked him." Interesting, and again, Cavalier really wants to talk to these alien creatures and learn their languages and stuff. So he becomes more obsessed over this stupid sheep eyeball thing. So I think it was actually a moment where he was actually communicating with it, with the pie formula, and the sheep actually communicated with him back, which I thought was an interesting scene. And I get that they had, and I've heard this before, where they was like, well, this certain formula is what makes the universe. So therefore, if there was an intelligent alien race, they would govern the laws of their culture, society will be governed around these same numeric formula. And then she kind of agrees with that. But I'm thinking, well, I'm like, well, how do you know that they work by numbers? Because we work by numbers, but not every civilization works by numbers.
Visit Far Harbor, ship set, no sails.
So, I mean, like I said, it's interesting.
We breathe underwater,
and like I said, I've heard that concept before, but I don't think the show explored it enough. I think they started touching it, but they feed into the water a little bit during this scene. But I don't think it goes far enough. But it does make him want to let the eye get to a human body, so that way he can communicate, which is a smart idea. And then, of course, he has the perfect idea for the person he wants to do it to, and we all know who that is. I know, because there's like 4 people who are potential targets. I'm pretty much hoping it's him, but I think he's going to either go with the Dame or Joe, and it seems like Joe, because Joe's just a sap and an idiot literally has nothing going on for himself in the show outside of his sister. But okay, we'll see. So anyways, we're gonna flash back to Wendy, Joe, and Nibs while they're still walking. Yutani forces converge on them in the jungle, and then Wendy calls the Xenomorph. The Xenomorph wipes out the people, and I'm not the type of person that's like, okay, the Xenomorphs have to be in the dark. There's a lot of benefits to that, but I actually think seeing it in like the daytime setting, I think it looks pretty good for the most part. Most part, it is practical. It's a guy in a suit. There are benefits, but there are also cons to that as well. The practical side looks pretty good, but there are moments you can tell it's a guy in a suit. I like some of the moments where it's digitally enhanced with the CGI. That definitely works with the kills. One of the things I still don't understand about this is I'm sitting here watching this thing like mow these people down, and they do not act like regular, like smart soldiers. If there's a giant monster in a tree that and for some reason they got this weird thing where they see a monster or alien, and instead of just automatically shooting it, it could be more than one person. It could be 12 people. Everybody's shocked. Everybody's got the same reaction. It's like, no. When everybody saw that there was a Xenomorph in the tree, at least 2 out of 6 or however many people it was would have just automatically opened fire because they don't know what the creature was. And to the first guy who gets pounced on, to his credit, he does do that. Now, me personally, it looked like a direct hit. It looked like the Xenomorph exoskeleton is pretty tough, but not against like pulse rifles. If it's smaller arm, like a regular firearm, a pistol or something like that, okay, it can't be penetrated. You know, it can't be penetrated by something like that. A shotgun, something more high powered or something like that, it should have tore that thing apart. And when that guy hit it, it looked like it hit it point blank because the thing pounced on him. It should have tore that Xenomorph apart. But okay, but it's kind of cool. I do like the design where it's like a mix of like yellow and green veiny, and it looks sickly, but it looks gross and sickly, but it looks cool. And like I said, there's pros and cons to showing it in the daytime. I don't like the follow up scene where Wendy kind of has this thing where she's petting it and stuff like that. I get that there's a bit of communication, but I would prefer that instead of it being a pet to her, that yes, she can summon it, but it mostly like avoids her. Like she can call it or whatever. Cool. Like if she can communicate with it, I don't mind. This whole she can control it and stuff, I don't like that. I don't like that she's treating it as a pet. I can see it like interacting with her, but not being trying to kill her. Like it could be aggressive, it could push her out the way and stuff, but that doesn't make it. It just won't. It like literally won't kill her, but it'll just do whatever. Like say if it tried to kill, like it was going after Joe, she could be in the middle and being able to hold it back. Now it won't. She can't stop it from. She can't communicate literally with it to stop it, but it won't harm her. So I think that would have worked out as a better dynamic than her just controlling it. So Morrow ends up, and the troops end up getting into the facility, all 2 of the guys. And then next you know, Kirsh pops up and with like 100 guys that fill up this room with guns on them, and then captures Morrow and everybody else. Now, earlier there was a scene of the baby Xenomorph that killed Arthur sliding across the ground, and the net ends up covering it. But it turns out that was something Kirsh had. Kirsh ended up catching this because there's a container with the Xenomorph in it. So how in the hell they caught it, I don't know. There's also a scene earlier where Dane is in her office Curly comes in there, she's sad and she's crying, and they kind of, and Dame kind of comforts her, and then that's it. There's no follow up. We don't see her talking with anyone, and I like the woman that plays Curly, and I like the character of Curly because she could have been the potential anti-Wendy in the show, which would have made for really cool dynamics with the interaction between Wendy and her and Cavalier, and maybe even help kind of fraction the hybrids. You know, some decide to go with Wendy, some decide to go with Curly. But that's not what we get with her character. She's completely, I mean, almost every character on the show is completely underused. But she's probably the most underused character. So, anyway, so the last scene is Nibs, Wendy, and Joe making it to the boat. I think it's a little weird. There's nobody out there. They get on the boat, and next thing you know, Siberia and Raj Webber, the other guy's name is. Now, Siberia and the other guy are Joe's former teammates from the recovery team, the response team in the early episodes, and you see them here and there when they get back to Neverland Island, because now they're part of the Prodigy crew. And Siberia's like, what are you doing? I warned you not to do this. And all these soldiers pop up, and then one of the soldiers takes Nibs' doll that she had, throws it in the water, and then Nibs just brutally murders the guy, just grabs him by the jaw, tears his jaw off, and man falls into the water, and then she backhand the hell out of another one, took the railing off, sent her into the water. There's a scuffle between Wendy and Siberia and Joe and the other guy, and Nibs catches Siberia, about to kill her. And no, Siberia, the black chick with the red hair, shot Nibs. Nibs got her. Nibs was about to kill her. Then Joe picked up a stun gun and shot Nibs. And it looked like Nibs died because of how she was just like it looked like she died. It didn't because when he got stunned by Morrow, he didn't react like that. So of course, you know, Wendy looks down, sees Nibs, and then she's like, "What are you doing?" And then that's how the episode ends. This episode was dumb, but again, a lot of good things happened, but a lot of stupid things happened as well. I still don't like the Cavalier character. Not once in this entire series has this character done anything intelligent. Not smart, intelligent. Everything he has said and done has been stupid, and it's been reinforced by poor writing, poor direction, and borderline poor acting. I can't really fault the actor because the director is either directing him to act like this or not directing him to act like this. And if he's crap at acting, accepting the failure of acting as well as the writing surrounding the character and the dialogue and stuff. This whole thing with Wendy and the alien is an interesting idea, but it's still like a bad idea the way that they're portraying it. You should not control the Xenomorph. It should be just this rabbit thing that's just gonna wild out. But you should be able to. It should be more like in the initial episodes when Wendy interacts with the first Xenomorph. There's a scene where Joe is not dead. He's in this meat locker for some reason, alive, and Wendy goes there to save him, and then the Xenomorph has them blocked in, and then it just kind of looks at them. Pretty cool scene, and then it just leaves out of the container thing. It doesn't kill them or attack them, and I'm like, that's how the Xenomorph should act with her. She can communicate with them, but there's no controlling. It should be they should either avoid her or just at least leave her alone. They won't attack her for the most part, unless maybe she does something stupid. But the whole thing where she just controlling it and is like a pet, stupid. Kirsh setting up Morrow is an interesting way to play it. It's kind of messed up Arthur and Isaac died because it seemed like this was all a setup. And I'm not saying that Isaac died because of Kirsh's decisions, but Arthur did die because Kirsh knew about it but didn't act on it. So that was kind of messed up, but I guess Kirsh was like, we got to get tomorrow. We got to get, if Yutani's going to pull a stunt, we're going to be ahead of them. So actually, I think, and like I said, got some brutal kills. This whole thing with Wendy just going down this dark path, getting people killed, like right then. There's a difference between when she initially let out the Xenomorph and killed all those scientists, and when the Yutani had them at gunpoint. So if you say that the Xenomorph killed the Yutani because they threatened her, that makes sense. The scientists, not so much. So I just don't get it. But and then this whole thing with her brother at the end literally just came out of nowhere. And then I'm hoping the next episode.
Get in deep with the
I'm hoping the next episode, because when they are at gunpoint, the Xenomorph is in the bushes looking over there. So I'm thinking to myself, okay, you see Wendy is in danger now. To the credit of the writing, she tried to call the Xenomorph, but Joe stopped her because Siberia and the other guy are their friends, his friends. He knows them. But after the struggling and all that stuff, why not just call the Xenomorph then? Why the Xenomorph just automatically attack, saw a bunch of people there, and they seeing the struggle and stuff, but they're not trying to help. But it's one of those again. I've been saying that the show has some good moments, but unfortunately the bad writing just kills it. I'm going to go. I'm not going to give it the excuse anymore. This is a bad episode. Some things that were good in it. There's some good scenes in it, but unfortunately, it's ultimately just bad. I'm going to give Alien Earth Episode 7 2 out of 5. Get in deep with the you got the fly creatures that escaped. They could have been much more of a bigger nuisance. Like, I don't know, they're flying around and multiplying, taking out the communications, taking out the security cams, taking out the electronics. Could have just brought more chaos. More of the aliens could have been more prominent. They're not really doing anything. So anyway, so what are your thoughts about episode 7? Did you like it? Did you not like it? What are some good points that could have made this a better episode? And what are you looking forward to in episode 8? Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and hit that notification button to get the best of what we got going on this channel. And we'll definitely catch you guys later.